Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well wherever you are watching from. We have a topic today that is going to carry forward from our topic yesterday about a potential conflict with China amid growing concerns that the Chinese and the CCP's aggression at some point will hit a boiling point in the United States, and China will find themselves in a hot conflict that is turned from a cold conflict. And today's topic is what could be the perfect plan for President Trump or possibly Taiwan to land a devastating knockout blow on the Chinese regime. I'm also happy to announce I am feeling much better. Still have a little bit of a lingering cough, but I appreciate everyone who stuck through with us while I was getting through that. It means a lot. I saw the well wishes in the comments. That means a lot too. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you know every single time we have a new video on the way. Comment with your thoughts below. And now let's go ahead and roll into today's topic of what the Trump administration and the U.S. military could do to knock out the Chinese almost instantly in the event of a war. So as you guys all know, we've discussed at length here the growing issues with the Chinese regime, the communist regime, the CCP out of Beijing, as they try to push out as far as they can into the South China Sea. They have military war games going on all over Taiwan. They are rapidly expanding their military capabilities. They're building a bunker, a nuclear bunker, 10 times the size of the Pentagon that will be completed within the coming years. And this all falls within the time window of 2027 to 2031, 2032, where the Chinese believe that is the window where they can take Taiwan. There's been a lot of debates about what would happen between a United States-China direct confrontation if our military had to confront the Chinese military, which would mostly start as a naval confrontation, and then it could quickly lead to a greater escalation. For the sake of this argument, we're going to assume that nuclear weapons between the two are not going to be used, just because that would result in essentially mutually assured destruction where both countries would suffer catastrophic losses. And there's really nothing to indicate that even if two nuclear powers were to fight a war, that either would feel the need to launch nukes. So what is a card, what is a strategy that the Trump administration could use or Taiwan could use in the event that a war with China blew up into a big military conflict? And I have three words for you. I'm sure many of you have heard of this. I'm sure some of you are learning about this for the very first time, but it is kind of the ace in the hole to cripple the Chinese economy, cripple the Chinese military, and put China in a position where any further fighting would be, quite frankly, untenable. And those three words are the Three Gorges Dam. I'm going to throw a picture of this up on the screen for you. This is something that United States military planners have spent a lot of time looking at. Taiwanese military planners have also spent a lot of time looking at. And the reason why is the Three Gorges Dam is the world's largest hydroelectric gravity dam in the world. And it controls a significant chunk of the power to China. It also holds back a significant amount of water that could be used to flood out a large portion of China as well. So I'm just going to read to you a little bit about this. This is from Wikipedia. The Three Gorges Dam is a hydroelectric gravity dam that spans and I'm probably going to butcher some of these names. I don't speak Chinese. I'm doing my best here. That spans the Yangtze River near Songyuping in the Yingling District, Yisheng, Hubei, Province, Central China, downstream of the Three Gorges. The world's largest power station by installed capacity. It can do 22,500 megawatts. It generates 95 plus minus 20 TWh of electricity per year on average, depending on the amount of precipitation in the river basin. After the extensive monsoon rainfalls of 2020, the dam produced nearly 112 TWh in a year, breaking the previous world record of 103 TWEH, set by the I2P dam in 2016. The dam's body was completed in 2006. The power plant became fully operational in 2012 when the last of the main turbines in the underground plant began production. The last major component of the project, the ship lift, was completed in 2015. The dam, measuring 185 meters in height and 2,309 meters in width, significantly surpasses Brazil's 12,600 megawatt I2P facility and is one of the world's largest hydroelectric plants. So this plant supplies an unbelievable amount of power to China, and it holds back water from flooding out entire regions of China. Essentially, by attacking this dam, you would be unleashing devastating power. The casualty count would be unbelievable, unlike anything we've seen in modern history. And for that reason, China has invested a significant amount of air defense, anti-missile defense, early warning systems. It is arguably, according to experts who research it, the most protected place in all of China, because China knows that if they lose that dam, it is a curtain call for them. The ball game is essentially over. So they have military stuff all over this dam. But as we know, if you throw enough missiles at something, they're not all going to get stopped. That's just the fact of the matter. Some missiles are going to get through, or you could fly a B-2 stealth bomber, evade Chinese radar, Chinese early warning systems, and then drop a GBU-57, which is, of course, a 30,000-pound bunker buster, the same bomb that the Trump administration would use if they make a decision to attack Iran. These are weapons that, again, only the U.S. has. Taiwan does have some long-range missiles that would be able to certainly cause significant damage to the dam. It is unclear if Taiwan's missiles could take it out entirely, but the United States of America absolutely would have the means to fly in and take it out. So let's go ahead right now and take a look at some more information about how devastating it would be for China if they were to lose the Three Gorges Dam. So this is an article, part of an article. I'll throw it up on the screen for you right here from AEI, and it talks about just how damaging an attack on the Three Gorges Dam would be. Let me read for you right now. If China goes further, author and our very own contributing editor Gordon Chang has suggested that Taiwan could retaliate via a missile strike on the Three Gorges Dam. Almost 30% of China's population, therefore, is at risk of a catastrophic failure of the structure, such as one caused by a missile strike. That means Taiwan possesses a conventional weapon that packs the wallop of a nuclear one, he noted. Chang is right. While President Ronald Reagan interceded to prevent Taiwan from developing its own nuclear deterrence, a decision that did not age well given China's belligerence, peace across the Taiwan Strait requires a willingness to bring the fight and massive destruction to China itself. If U.S. intelligence assessments are correct, and the United States has just 5 years to avert war across the Taiwan Strait, then it is essential to make clear that the war for Taiwan will not simply be fought on its eastern side of the Taiwan Strait. Containing a fight for Taiwan to Taiwan itself means forfeiting deterrence, if not guaranteeing war. Using China's own development against it is, in contrast, the best opportunity to avoid a fight the existing world order and international economy cannot survive. So what that is arguing right there, 30% of China, you are talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of people, would be directly impacted if the Three Gorges Dam failed. What it's also arguing is that China built this situation and wasn't very smart about it. They put their own country at risk with the way the dam was constructed and how much they rely on it. That is why China has to put so many military assets around the Three Gorges Dam, because they know that if the dam gets hit, it is game over. Would they like to go back in time and rebuild this thing differently, or do it in a different way, a different location, so that they essentially didn't have the ability to be kneecapped with a single missile strike? I'm sure they would. But the reality of the situation is, it is what it is. They put the dam where it is. They built the dam where it is. And now, with one strike, you could essentially cripple the entire Chinese economy, entire regions of China. And at that point, China would have a catastrophic situation on its hands. And it's hard to believe the Chinese military would then be able to fight the world's strongest military, the United States, while also dealing with the Three Gorges Dam being destroyed. It is America's trump card, no pun intended. It could be Taiwan's trump card if their weapons successfully were able to get it done. Of course, we know our weapons can get it done. There's no question about that at all. However, there is also another strategy that the United States could choose to pursue in the event of a major conflict that would prove just as devastating without even really having to fire a shot if a war with China were to get as bad as we are talking about in this example. Let's talk about that scenario right now. Another strategy the United States might choose to go for in the event that a military conflict has spiraled out of control, or if Taiwan falls and the United States has to reevaluate their situations. This is with or without an attack on the Three Gorges Dam, and that is essentially a blockade of imported goods. Now, that doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but that would cripple China in ways that the average person couldn't imagine for two reasons. China's entire economy and ability to survive is reliant on importing food and fuel. So in 2024, these are the latest numbers we have, China imported 11.04, so right over 11 million barrels of crude oil a day. That is 11 million barrels of crude oil a day in order to keep the country running. And if you look at the food imports, let me pull those up here. They had to import in 2023. They were the world's largest food importer at $140 billion worth of food. So in order to feed the country of China and in order to fuel the country of China, they have to import a significant amount of their resources. If we can cut off their ability to feed and fuel the country by a blockade, by not allowing resources into the country, China, the estimates are within 6 months, you would see damage that again would be unlike anything the world has seen before if you simply do a blockade and do not allow the Chinese to import food and fuel. Now, would Russia come in and try to backfill some of their food and fuel? Absolutely they would. It wouldn't even come close to covering what China would need. At the end of the day, a blockade would cripple them, and China would then have to make a decision whether to back down, reopen imports to feed and fuel their people, or greatly escalate the war, at which point the United States would probably unleash weapons that the public doesn't even know exist, which President Trump has hinted at before, the United States having weapons that we don't even know about, which I can guarantee you is a fact. So those are two strategies that the Trump administration would likely pursue in the event a war with China went from being a Cold War, which is what we're in now, to a hot war. They could take out the Three Gorges Dam and they could institute a blockade of the country. Both of those things would have absolutely devastating effects. And at that point, China would have some very hard choices to make. Of course, the U.S., as I've said many times, what's happening in Europe doesn't impact our lives. What's happening in the Middle East doesn't impact our lives. A war with China will absolutely impact our lives, our supply chain, our ability to get things here. We would also feel pain from this as well. And I'm not advocating for any of this. I'm not saying we should do it. I am just laying out the facts of what it could look like. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments what you think of these two strategies, the Three Gorges Dam, a blockade. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell. I appreciate all the well wishes for everyone while I've been under the weather. We are definitely coming up. We're doing much, much better. As always, I'll see you all next time.